The last time we met, Guinea ran rampant. It was a flogging by Hawthorn on the Pies, and McStay made his return. Let's talk about it. Continuing on this series of the last time we met, we take on Hawthorn today. And you got to cast your minds back to July last year. It was round 19. And this was the second time we played Hawthorn for that year. The first time you remember was in Gather Round, where it was the return of Ginnivan over in Adelaide. And that game was so close. You remember we kind of had them on the ropes by about half time. Then they started clawing their way back. And they come within a goal right at the end. And they had sort of chances to win it at the end. Our defence sort of held firm. But Hawthorn left that game thinking, hang on a second. These premiers, these reigning premiers can bleed. I think we might be able to get them next time. And they did. 66 points. We were absolutely thrashed. And it was really a tale of two different-ish seasons. Definitely different second half seasons for both these teams last year. So we started off the year 0-3. Hawthorn started off the year 0-5. We got some momentum back. Hawthorn started getting their momentum back. And by the time round 19 happened, the complete season was flipped. Hawthorn won 10 of their last 14 games. Collingwood came off the Kangaroos game where we just won by that solitary point. And then we had the bye. And then we lose, we go on and lose our next four, Hawthorn being one of those four. And our back-to-back dreams and our finals hopes just looked like they were in tatters. And I remember sitting there at the MCG level 1 on this rainy day, and I have never seen Collingwood play that terribly before. It was just absolutely incredibly sad. And that's probably when I knew there's... Mate, we're going to need an absolute miracle if we're to play finals. And I thought Hawthorn might go pretty far this year. So when that first quarter started, it was a little bit tit for tat, but Hawthorn's pressure in that first quarter was off the charts. It was over 200. And that really just spelled the way for, or paved the way for the rest of the game and how it was going to go. We got to quarter time only 11 points down, but after that, it was just catastrophe after catastrophe. In the second quarter, the rain starts absolutely pouring down and Hawthorn go on and kick the next 10 unanswered goals. In that first half, we finished with our first half lowest score in 38 years, 17, 1 goal, 11. Can you, this game was just absolutely nuts. This game was crazy. This game shouldn't have happened. It was just such an anomaly of a game in our 2024 season. And I know last year we had ups and downs, and it was a very much a roller coaster. But this just was just unheard of. After halftime, it just got absolutely worse. In that second half, we end up kicking 8 goals over the third and fourth quarter. Hawthorn go on and kick 13 goals. They kick 8 goals in the last quarter. Watson, Ginnivan, Bruce, McDonald, all these guys are just popping up, kicking goals, and we just didn't have any answers for them. We finally kicked some goals in that third quarter, but it was just all too little, too late. We just couldn't do anything. Positive thing that we could take out of that game, though, was the return of Dan McStay. Kicks his first goal in the fourth quarter. I remember that so vividly, because we had missed him for all of that year until he sort of came back then. And so that was the only bright spot of that game. The usual, Nick Daicos had a good game as well, but how much can one player do when you're getting done by 66 points? And then, of course, the whole Ginnivan saga. Kicks a couple of goals, has the most touches on the ground, has 11 score involvements. I think he had a career high, 31 touches. 11 score involvements, couple of goals. After one of the goals, he kisses the Hawthorn badge. After the other goal, he He does the night to the cheer squad, and I was freaking livid. I was absolutely livid when that happened. And it was all over social media. Everyone was booing him. He was lapping it up. He was winning by 66 points. And he just knew how to push out buttons. And I think the biggest thing with that was, after everything that we sort of supported him through and helped him through, he goes and does that. And I think that's what upset me the most. Not so much the fact that of the action that he did it, because if he did it at the Pies, we'd be applauding it. It was just the fact that after everything that we did for him and stuck by him and all this sort of stuff, that's what he did to us, to the cheer squad as well, who were there for him. And, oh man, it was just absolutely annoying. So what's changed since 2024 to this game now? Personnel has changed a little bit, not too much. There are, a couple of players from that lineup last year that won't be playing, like Ruth McGuinness, Nathan Kruger, Markov, Richards won't be there, Braden Maynard, John Noble. So there's 6 or so players that won't be there. Dan McStay, a lot of players actually. Now that I read it like that, but we get incredible players back now. Lockie Schultz, Billy Frampton. Billy Frampton's, I read that because he was out last year and now he's in this year. Lockie Schultz, Darcy Moore, Scott Pendlebury, Bobby Hill, Steel Sullivan, all these guys are now fit and firing, ready to go. And the biggest thing from between last year and this year for Collingwood is that we have continuity this season, as opposed to last season where we were just having patchwork teams. And, when we were playing these, Hawthorn, we were in that 0-4 run that I told you about earlier this video after the bye. We're playing way better football now, cleaner football, high pressure football. We were just bullied. We were just absolutely bullied last year by the Hollywood Hawks, and I don't think that's going to happen again this year. So what can we learn from that 2024 game? What we can learn is that we want to control the ball better. We want to put pressure on the Hawks. We would want to start really, really strong, because Hawthorn started strong. Like I said, they had a pressure rating of over 200, so they're going to hit us really hard. They are gettable. They are on the ropes a little bit now, so we can take those lessons of what they were able to do to us, their run, their carry, everything that we weren't able to do, and flip it on its head and give them the run, the carry, the fancy Hollywood Hawks that they were doing to us. We do it to them this year. So there are lessons to take. There is going to be battles. We know Ginnivan and Collingwood, Ned Long and Hawthorn as well. So it's going to be a really, really interesting game and a really interesting fight. But there definitely are lessons from last year that we can take into this year. So where were you when this happened? Were you watching it at that cold, wet MCG? Were you at home by a lovely fire? Let me know your thoughts down below, and who do you think will be the difference maker this time? But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers, I'll swoop you later.